You know, when you listen to Bob Dylan's A Hard Rain's A Gonna Fall, it doesn't really feel like just a song, does it? It's more like a prophecy. He wrote it way back in 1962 with the Cuban Missile Crisis looming over everyone's heads, and it's this epic, surreal journey through a world that's right on the edge. The whole thing is set up like a conversation between a parent and their kid who's just gotten home. It's a testimony, really, to all this built-up injustice. So let's kind of walk alongside this traveler and see the world, then and now, through their eyes. So the song kicks off with this really simple frame, a parent just asking their child, "Hey, where have you been?" But that quiet little question is the key that unlocks this massive, almost biblical testimony. It's the call that demands a response, and that back and forth structure is what pushes the entire harrowing story forward. And there it is, that first question. But listen to the words, "My darling young one." Dylan uses this really intimate, close language to make the horrors that are about to be described feel even more shocking. The question just kind of hangs there in the air, you know? It's like the last moment of quiet before the storm he's just walked through is finally revealed. And the answer he gives is just staggering. I mean, this isn't a trip to the corner store. The traveler replies with this flood of mythic, almost supernatural images. 12 misty mountains, a dozen dead oceans. These aren't literal places on a map. They're more like feelings, archetypes of a world that's falling apart. And that final line just hammers it home. 10,000 miles in the mouth of a graveyard. Wow. The journey itself has been one long dance with death. And then, bam, the song's hammering heartbeat, the refrain. And this isn't just about the weather, obviously. It's a metaphor for nuclear fallout, for judgment, for that inevitable reckoning that's coming because nobody's listening to the warnings. It's the promise, or maybe the threat, that anchors every single verse to come. Okay, so after painting this huge, desolate landscape, the song starts to zoom in. The second question shifts from where the traveler has been to the specific, haunting things he's seen that he just can't shake, the proof of how sick the world really is. And again, the parent asks with that same gentle, searching tone. It's such a simple question, but it's about to open the floodgates to this stream of really disturbing snapshots, a whole catalog of a society that's in a deep, deep crisis. The very first vision is just a gut punch. You have the ultimate symbol of innocence, a newborn baby, and it's completely surrounded by primal danger. It's a brilliant way to show a world where the most vulnerable people are left totally unprotected, where the future itself is in danger from the second it's born. Then, the vision shifts from the natural world to something man-made. A highway of diamonds. I mean, a symbol of incredible wealth and progress. But it's completely empty. What a powerful critique of materialism, right? A vision of amazing achievement that isn't helping anyone. It's just this pristine, glittering road that leads absolutely nowhere. Now, this is a chilling one, an image of total communication breakdown. Just think of all the politicians, the pundits, the people pushing propaganda whose words don't mean anything anymore. Their ability to speak the truth is shattered. And what you're left with is a world drowning in noise and catastrophic rhetoric, but with no real conversation or accountability. And of course, the refrain lands again. After seeing these visions of endangered innocence, useless wealth, and broken truth, that promise of a cleansing, destructive reign feels even more certain. It feels like the consequence of it all. So we've moved from the horrors he's seen, and now the testimony shifts to the things he has heard. We're going from the visual to the auditory, into the soundscape of suffering and, even worse, profound and deliberate indifference. The third question arrives. So if the traveler's eyes saw all this injustice, what did his ears pick up? This gets us ready for a different kind of evidence, one that might be even more haunting because it's really about what goes unheard. This line just perfectly captures social alienation. You have a massive amount of communication happening, all these whispers, but it's a closed loop. Nobody is actually listening. It speaks to a world where warnings are ignored and pain is kept private. A lot like our political echo chambers today, where fear gets amplified, but empathy gets shut down. The contrast here is just stark and absolutely brutal. Dylan puts the unique, singular suffering of one starving person right up against the sound of widespread, careless laughter. It's an image of incredible apathy, a world where rhetoric can actually normalize cruelty, turning one person's agony into nothing more than background noise for someone else's good time. So the refrain follows these sounds of neglect, and it makes perfect sense. A world that ignores whispers and laughs at starvation is a world that's practically begging for that hard rain. At this point, the storm doesn't just feel like it's coming, it feels like it's been earned. All right, so we've seen the landscapes, we've heard the sounds of this broken world. Now, the song zooms in even closer. It moves away from these abstract observations to the faces of the people who live there, to the real human cost of all this decay. The fourth question asks for a cast of characters. And the answer is like a gallery of figures, where each person is a little piece of the human condition. Each one a story of innocence, or violence, or even hope in this desolate land. And these encounters really paint a picture of a fractured humanity. You see tragic innocence with the child next to a dead pony, and unimaginable suffering with the woman whose body was burning. You see the really charged, unresolved tension of the civil rights era in that image of a white man walking a black dog. But then, in the middle of all of it, there's this single flicker of hope. A young girl gives him a rainbow, a fragile little promise of beauty in all the decay. And then Dylan just boils the entire human condition down to two fundamental forces, love and hate. And he presents both of them as wounds, as these powerful, life-changing experiences that mark a person forever. It's just a brilliant way to show the profound duality of our nature. So after meeting all of these souls, the innocent, the suffering, the hopeful, the hateful, the refrain hits again. This coming storm is the backdrop against which all of these lives are lived. It's the consequence for every single one of them. And right here, we reach the major turning point. After listing all the horrors of his journey, the song pivots. The final question isn't about what happened in the past, but what's going to happen next. It's not just testimony anymore. It's a profound call to action. This is the climax. After all this testimony, after witnessing so much horror, what's the response? Do you run away? Do you hide? The question is a challenge, and it's not just for the son in the song, but for every single one of us who's been listening. And the answer is just extraordinary. He vows to go back out. He's going to walk into the world's darkest places, where hunger is ugly, where souls are forgotten, and he is going to bear witness. He will tell it and think it and speak it and breathe it. But the most important step is that last one. Know my song well before I start singing. This isn't about just screaming in anger. It's about conviction. It's about understanding the truth so deeply that it becomes a part of you before you even dare to share it with a broken world. The final refrain is different. It kind of stumbles, it repeats. It's a hard. It's as if it's overwhelmed by the sheer weight of everything that's come before it. After the traveler's powerful vow, this final declaration of the coming rain feels less like a threat and more like an absolute tragic certainty. The die has been cast. And so the song leaves us with its final challenge, turned right back on us. In a world of broken communication, Dylan is suggesting that the most radical thing you can do is first find your own truth, your own song, and know it inside and out before you start singing. The question isn't just what the traveler will do anymore. It's what will we do? What is the song that we must know right now before that hard rain finally begins to fall?